We're back with another video. This time, I'm going to show you how to build a two-factor authentication for your app that uses one of those time-based OTP that changes every 30 seconds or every 60 seconds or whatever. So to show you what I'm talking about, here's a quick demo right off the start, just like always. So here on this page, you'll show them a prompt that says, click here to set up 2FA. When they click on it, you're gonna create a secret, store the secret, right? And then give them a QR code to scan with their authenticator app. Then what they're gonna do is that they're gonna pull up an authenticator app on their iPhone or whatever that looks like this. Here, let me zoom in so you can see. This is Do authenticator app. All it does is that it stores all your OTPs. There are others like it. For example, there's Google Authenticator. That's a pretty famous one, but this just happens to be the one that I'm using. You can type in Authenticator app on the App Store and you'll find many apps like this. Anyways, they'll take an app like this, and then on the Authenticator app, whatever it is, it's gonna ask you to add an account, and it's gonna ask you to either scan a QR code or enter an activation code. This right here is the QR code, and under it is the code that the user would enter, but we're gonna scan the QR code because it's more convenient. So I open up the QR code scanner, looking like this, and then I scan the QR code, and then it's gonna ask me to name what kind of credentials is this, and then I save it, and there you go. The OTP is set up on my Authenticator app. I know it's blurry, sorry for that, but now the user has a one-time password that updates every 30 seconds, and that makes it more secure. So now they can just use this to log in. This is called time-based one-time password, TOTP. Then I'm going to also show you how to implement the verification of that one-time password. So once the setup is done and the user logs in, they'll enter using their username or email and password. Then your website or app will prompt them to enter the one-time password to make sure that it's them. And here they'll enter the code that is on their app. So for example, I enter my code here, hit verify. It sends it to my server. My server verifies it against the secret that I already have stored. And if it's correct, if it matches, then it says the OTP is valid. Now we're gonna implement this from the scratch, and it's easier than you think. I'm going to start over here with the same web app that I showed earlier, but it doesn't do anything. This button doesn't do anything, and the verification page doesn't do anything. And then I'm gonna create a service on my server that creates a secret for the user that signs up and returns the QR code for them to scan, and another service that takes that OTP and makes sure it's correct. So we're gonna start with the server side. Here in my server, I have two endpoints. One's called generate and one's called verify. Generate is gonna take in the user ID, creates a secret for them, and then returns to the client side the QR code, the secret that they can either scan or enter in their Authenticator app to set up their credentials. So to do that, in your server NodeJS endpoint, make sure to install these dependencies, Speakeasy and QR code, so you can generate the QR code. Okay, so the first step, when the user requests to set up two-factor authentication for themselves, you'll take that request and then you will create a secret for that user. And the secret is just basically a random string that you store in your system, and you change that based on what time it is now, and that's what you use to verify if the OTP is correct. So to create the secret, just use Speakeasy's library, and you do it like this. You'll use this method called generate secret, and inside you have two options, name and issuer. In issuer, put the name of your organization. So for example, for me, I'll just put my YouTube channel name. For name, you can say what this OTP is for, and what app service, and what is the user ID that this OTP is for. So for example, I'm gonna say, for the name, I'm gonna say script poppy, and I'll say for user, and then I'll just put the user ID here, which is just my name. And that's how you can create the secret. Next, you want to store that secret in your database. This is my database. This is the user document. I'm going to just store the secret in base32 format. And in my case, I'll use Firebase to store the secret and other user information. but you could use anything else. You could use your own other database, AWS, Azure, or you could use a secret manager, like for example, AWS Secret Manager or Google Cloud Secret Manager, whatever. And the secret would be secret base 32. Now, inside this secret object, there will be a URL that is returned by this library that the authenticator apps can use to basically, link your OTP with your authenticator app. So we're gonna take that link that is inside that object and use it to create the QR that the user can scan. And we do that like this. Inside secret, the URL will be in this parameter over here called OTP auth _ URL. That's what you want to use to create the QR code. And now you can go ahead and create the QR code. The string for the QR code would be that OTP URL. And then here inside the create object, you're going to get a method, and that method will have an error and data URL. And that's what you're going to return to the client. Let's remove this extra response over here. Put a return instead. And here we should handle our error too, in case there is one. Okay, so that should be all for the secret setup. Now let's test this out, see if it works. Oh, my bad. Here I used the wrong method. Here it should be not create, it should be to data URL. I used the wrong method. Now let's try again. It should work. There you go. Secret is created. This is your user ID. This is the secret that they can enter in their authenticator app in case the QR doesn't work for whatever reason. And this is the URL that you could use to build the QR code image. So now that this is working, I'm gonna go ahead and deploy this endpoint, and I'm gonna show you how it works on my client side. Switch back to my client side. Here, let's build that logic in the meantime while my endpoint is deploying. So this method is what gets called when the user clicks on this button. When the user clicks on this button, we're gonna set loading to true, so we can show that loading indicator while the QR code is being generated, and then call the API like this. Okay, so that's how we call the API. I'm just waiting for my API to get deployed so I can put the URL for it here. Okay, here's the URL. I'm gonna go ahead and try using it in my client side now. Okay, put it here. Now let's try. Sends a request to my API and it creates the QR code. And I'm gonna go ahead and try scanning this in my authenticator app, and it works. But I badly formatted the name here. I should have put a space between user and the user ID. Okay, so that's how to create the OTP. Now we move on to the part where I show you how to verify if it's correct. Now for the verification part, I need to collect two things, the user ID and the TOTP, the timed OTP. And here I need to implement the logic to, based on the user ID, I'm gonna get the secret from my database or my secret manager. Then I'm gonna use Speakeasy's library. It has a method that's called verify. I'm gonna use that to check if the OTP entered is correct or not. Okay, so first thing, using the user ID, we're gonna get the secret. And here I'm gonna throw an error if the user does not have a secret. I'll say that the user did not set it up. Okay, now that I got the secret, I need to verify the OTP against that secret. And I'm gonna do it like this. You'll enter the secret that you got from your database. You'll enter the encoding, it's base 32. You'll enter the TOTP, which is the token. And then you'll enter window. You set it to 1. When you set it to 1, this allows for plus or minus 30 seconds delay. Or you could remove this and then the library will insist that the code is entered when it's displayed on the authenticator app, and maybe that's better. Okay, so you give it all that, and then it's gonna return true or false. True if the TOTP is correct, false if the TOTP is not correct. And then you're gonna return that response to your client side, whatever it is. I just returned the Boolean as it is, just for simplicity's sake. I'm gonna try this in my simulator first before I deploy it to show you that it's working. I'm just gonna grab whatever my authenticator app is displaying right now, and I'm gonna enter it here. And I'm gonna send the API request. Send it. and I should get true because it's still displayed here. So my TOTP is valid. Now let's enter the wrong one just to see if it works. It should give me false. There you go, false. Okay, so this is working. Let's go ahead and deploy it to our to production. And in the meantime, we're gonna go ahead and implement it in our client side. Here in my client side, I have a method that doesn't do anything. Instead, I'm gonna call my API call for verification in here instead. So what I'm doing is I'm collecting the TOTP in this field, and this goes into the state variable, set TOTP, goes to this variable, TOTP, and that's what we're gonna pass to my server along with the user ID. Okay, so that's how to code it. Now I'm just waiting for the endpoint to be deployed. Give me a second. Okay, there it is. Here's the endpoint. Let's go ahead and try it out. I got my authenticator app open. Gonna enter my TOTP here, 432, send it, and I should get something here that says OTP is valid. There you go, OTP is valid because I received true from the server. Now, let me just enter any random value and try that out. Should get an error. Oh, I forgot to handle that. So here, what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna handle, if response data is false, then I'm just gonna do alert. OTP is wrong. Now, let's try that again. That's what happens when you enter the wrong OTP. Okay, cool. Simple enough, right? Now, let's go implement all of this from the beginning one more time, just to give you the end-to-end flow. I'm gonna go to my database. I'm gonna clean the secret, and then I'm gonna delete the OTP from my app. Okay, now we're back to brand new. And then I'm gonna go to first page here. Click here to set up 2FA. You click on that. A secret is created, stored in the database like this. Then you get the QR code. You take out your app, this. You scan, ask you to set it up. And there you go, we have it. Now, let's verify. Let's enter the OTP here, 382191. Verify, OTP is valid. That's it, super simple, right? Now you know how to implement a time-based OTP to your website. If you like this video, hit like or subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. And as always, if you would like to get the full source code for this video, check out this Patreon link below in the description box. Otherwise, you don't really need it. That's just for supporting the channel. You can just follow this video and you'll be able to implement this whole thing without getting the source code. Anyways, that's all. Have a good evening. See you later. Bye-bye.